come on to do a little bit of a show. Oh.
Hi, I'm David. I collected the
Goodness.
August 20th, 1862.
So eye-opening of Venice. So now we get into what happened.
Yo, get off to your call. Woo. All right. It's pretty long.
Poisonous waters to drink called wormwood. And as a result of the impact of the blazing star, the water becomes poisonous or bitter, and many people die of drinking. And the name is wormwood in the same respect as it was in Jeremiah 9, I think verse 15. So the asteroid itself is not called wormwood, as we would label it. Rather, its significance has the same as the poisonous water as in Jeremiah.
Larry, will we see it coming?
Ain't no one been
I
in
doubt
here.
All right, we'll pick up on that in just a moment. We're at the bottom of the hour. If you have questions for Larry Wilson, we've got another half hour. I call it the quickening. Lord Michael Stone calls it intuitiveness. Larry Wilson calls it biblical prophecy. Others just call it science. But all of these seem to be pointing in the same direction. In a moment, more of Larry Wilson.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from September 20th, 1995.
All right, Larry has written a book. He's done a lot of research into what he's talking about this morning. It's called Morning Revelation is About to Be Fulfilled by Larry Wilson. And I'm going to a quote, fairly substantial. And he's offering to give it to you. I don't think he knows what he's in for, but he's offering to give it to you. And he's got a number, and I guess all you do is call it, Larry, and ask for a copy of the book.
That's right.
And then call it right now?
Yes, that's right.
All right. You don't know what you're in for.
Well, the book is absolutely free. There's no obligation or any hidden strings. We just make it free as a way of saying thanks for listening.
Here's the facts. Personally, I believe the writing of the Bible is a warning. We can't let these doomed writers, that's you, make us believe there is no hope. There's always hope. We've been getting warnings for a long time. Let's start doing something about it. Tony and Vancouver, Washington. When one listens to you and people like you speak, Larry, it seems there's an inevitability to what you're saying. But then you sort of qualify it and say, but maybe it won't happen.
Well, Art, you've only heard one fifth of the story. The whole story is a rather exciting and glorious and all-encompassing story. And it's about a rescue, a dramatic rescue, and the establishment of a world that will be perfect. It's bad news and good news, and in that order.
That's from in that order. And the close-in prediction that you're making about, big piece of rock slamming into the earth, the ocean, and the landmass, and a quarter of the earth's people dying. That's the bad news. That's pretty bad news, Larry. I mean, in terms of scale and Washington, that's very bad.
It is very sobering. I don't mean to trifle with it, but by the same token, if that's all there was to the story, you would have a sense of helplessness and hopelessness. But that's not all there is to the story. It is the dramatic part of the story. But here's something that I think that might help your listeners, and perhaps even as you are so instrumental in talking to so many people of varieties, backgrounds, and differences in directions, but sort of headed in the same direction. This story, at least from a biblical perspective, is that God is not going to rescue the religious. He's going to rescue those who will live by faith and put their confidence in Him. Now, the rescue may be from death, or it may be after you have experienced death in the cataclysmic events that are coming. But the Bible doesn't teach, as I see it, that God saves religious people. Rather, He saves people who will put faith in Him as their Creator and Redeemer. Now, that's an entirely different deal than God saving the religious zealot. You know what I'm saying?
I do, and I don't know what I'm feeling. And what I'm going to do is go back to the Houston Rockets on the air with Larry Wilson.
Mr. Wilson hasn't stated that. Also in Revelation, it states that the angel will throw the millstone into the sea, destroying Babylon. In 1996, we're going to send a rocket up to monitor a near-miss asteroid that's coming by supposedly in 1998. The problem is it may hit, I think, Babylon is a euphemism for Sodom and Gomorrah,
Which is us.
which is Hollywood, the West Coast.
Las Vegas, especially Las Vegas.
People will not be able to destroy it because I believe we'll be in World War III after Bad Boy becomes president, unfortunately.
Well, gee, you're just a bowl of cheer.
That's right.
All right, thank you very much for the call. If there was anybody who could outdo you, Larry, maybe he just did.
I think so.
Oh, my God. All right. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with
Yes,
Larry Wilson. Hello.
Lily,
Hi, Art. This is Dave from
Liar?
South California.
or
Hi, Dave.
Liar, or I
I
can't
just
pronounce
wanted to
that
ask
correctly.
Larry,
Yeah,
what cataclysmic event is going to do us in
The
first?
best way to learn how to play
Good question.
guitar is get yourself
Here is an interesting thing.
an
In
acoustic.
Revelation 8, verse 5,
Do not
there's a
worry.
scene in which
See,
John
this is where I screwed
writes
up at.
that he
See,
saw
I
an
started
angel in
off
heaven
learning
ministering
runs
at
and
the
riffs.
altar of
You
incense.
know,
And this angel
I started learning
down
that
his
shit
censer.
from the
Now, bear in
beginning
mind, this is before
without
the
having a
trumpets
foundation.
began. Okay. That
Learn
when
your
an angel
basics.
casts down his censer,
Uh,
there
G,
are
D,
4
E minor,
phenomena
C,
that will be observed
and F.
around the world.
You know those
all
chords,
at the
and you
same
can be a rock
time
star.
by all the
There ain't-
people of the
that's
world.
All right,
the
so
blues
which one
and
is
the rock
first?
is
Is
based
his
upon
question.
those
All right, there
five
will be
chords.
rumblings, thunder,
Maybe G,
flashes
D,
of
E
lightning,
minor,
and
C.
the global earthquake.
But
the whole earth will tremble.
but yeah, that's
Then
and get
the
a Mel
first
Bay
trumpet
chord
will
book
sound,
with the
which is the
acoustic
meteoric
guitar.
showers of burning
And
hail.
Look,
And secondly will be
unless
the
you're a prodigy,
asteroid impact on the
you're
sea,
not
the
everybody's
asteroid
gonna
or
be
comet impact upon the
an Eddie
land,
Van Halen.
and then the
It
volcanic
just-
volcano ring
it
of
just ain't gonna
fire
happen.
eruption. That's the order of
someone like
events
that
as
just
I
kinda run
anticipate
around
them to
here and
begin.
there.
Sounds great.
You know,
Now,
but that doesn't mean you can't play.
yes.
I was
That
going to
doesn't mean
point
you
out
can't
that,
be a good guitar
that
player.
until 2 years ago,
Just learn those basics, man.
seismologists had
And like
argued
when I'm gonna say,
that it was
if you
not
keep up at it,
possible
like
to have a global earthquake.
3 months,
Until
you know,
2
you'll
years ago?
see
Yeah.
how it
And,
starts to go.
Who
Like when you
now
learn,
argues it is possible?
A number of seismologists, after
I'm gonna leave
the
the phase on
well,
it
let
for
me,
the moment.
to their
Like
credit,
when you learn
to their
G,
credit, they have reconsidered
E minor,
that the
C,
tectonic plates
E minor, E,
are
C.
not
You
sitting
just do
on
over,
a solid mass,
over,
but
and
rather
over, and over,
a
and over, and
molten,
over, and over,
crumbly
and over, and over,
type of mass
over
in the
again.
heart of the
You
earth.
sit there and just do it. Not
Do
even
you
think
remember
about
the
it. Just
earthquake?
talk
You know,
about
again,
cats,
you're beginning to
dogs,
sound like
and
scallions.
alligators,
Scallions know is
applesauce, and all kinds of stuff. You know?
there is a
but,
molten
but when
core,
you get it down like that,
and that
then you
it
can
is
start
in the process now
expanding,
of shifting.
Yes.
your plan.
And
you know, like
Is
Freebird.
that similar
Let's
to
take Freebird
Well,
for
this is
example.
what the
Everybody
this is
knows
what
It
the,
drives me
song
nuts.
Freebird.
The
Everybody knows who
seismologists
it is.
have concluded
You know,
as a
Leonard
result,
Skinner.
and they
It's,
have evidence of it now. The first earthquake in recorded history
D,
that has moved the entire hemisphere
E minor,
happened
2 pounds,
last year. It happened down in
F major,
Colombia,
C
South
major,
America. It was about
Back
450 miles deep, and it was felt all the way into Canada.
You know what? I recall.
Remember that?
I do.
Remember
Yes.
those chords I mentioned?
Scientists were saying
Yeah.
that it was one of the deepest earthquakes they had ever detected.
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
And not ever dreaming, because there's no way to explore depths that deep in the earth. No practical ways yet known, anyway. That now they're convinced,
but
as a result
man.
of this, that they have
Just learn those
evidence
basics,
sufficient
and
to
you'd be
demonstrate
good
a
to
global
you know,
earthquake. Incidentally, this is part of the package, if you will, that ignites the whole story of Revelation. And it begins with the global earthquake and the phenomenon that I was just describing to your caller.
All right, let's keep moving. Time is short. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Larry Wilson.
Good morning, Art. Larry.
Hi.
Hey, I was just wondering how this would fit in with Larry's philosophy here. I have a thing here that talks about the 7 tribulations that would occur during the final 7 weeks of time. And it begins with the Battle of Jerusalem and then ends with the Battle of Armageddon. And in between, in wilderness, that's when there would be the tribulations of blistering heat, destruction of ships, the water made bitter, the sun and moon smitten.
All the things he's talked of.
Yes, and men seeking untimely death. Now, in this particular thing, it says that this would occur during the final 7 days of time. And from what I understand, according to the scripture, the week would be 7 years. And so, I was just kind of thinking that the Battle of Jerusalem had to do with, somewhere along the lines of the birth of the nation of Israel. I'm calling Minnesota. Many Christians anticipate what is called the Great Tribulation for a period of 7 years. And these events that we're describing here are woven into that tribulation. My view is contrasted just a little bit. The good news is I don't believe that the tribulation is 7 years, but rather 1335 days, about 3 years plus. And the tribulation commences that is spoken of in the scripture with these cataclysmic events.
Wesley Rockies, you're on the air with Larry Wilson.
Hi, I'm a Christian for about 8 years, and I've studied prophecy, and I'm really focused, obviously, because of the quickening of the AR. I think that anybody who sets gate is doing a lot of harm. He's doing a lot of harm to the Christian movement. And I agree, and I feel we are in the last times, but I don't think we can be so matter of fact about it and say from time cleansing and president, we're going to have 2 comets at the ground. There's nowhere in the Bible that says within a certain date of time that those 2 comets are going to hit the earth. And if I can hang on the line and hear what he has to say, I'd like to comment back if I could.
No, go ahead, Larry. How do you answer that? I mean, you want to know how you have concluded all of this based on what you studied in the Bible. There is no real time. How do you know it has begun or is about to begin?
Well, in Bible prophecy, there are about 12 to 15 specific time periods. For example, in Revelation 13:5, there's a time period of 42 months. In Daniel, there's a time period of 70 weeks. In Revelation 20, there's a time period of 1,000 years. So my point is that when you add all the prophetic time periods together, they produce a large pattern. The same kind of pattern that scientists use. Not the same pattern, but the same type of pattern.
Caller, that is what's unnerved me. You know what I feel about this, which aren't necessarily limited to the Bible or anything else. But then I listen to Scallion, you study Edgar Casey, or you listen to Larry Wilson. They all seem to be saying about the same thing, and that unnerves the hell out of me.
I agree. I think what's scary about it is that with Scallion and all these other people, there is no consequence to the decision and the things you put it. If Scallion is not getting right, the only person that has a consequence to it is this man's belief in Christian faith, because in that sense there's a heaven and hell, and if Scallion's right, and we die and we just turn into some guru, who cares? But if the Bible were...
Scallion never said we die and turn into goo.
Well, no, I know he didn't say that, but what I'm saying is that the Christians believe that there is a heaven and a hell,
yes,
and an eternity. Other beliefs say, well, if you're a good person, this and that. Christianity believes that if you've given your life to Christ and trusted in Him for your salvation, you'll survive.
All right, see, this is where, thank you, caller. Larry, this is where I run into all kinds of trouble personally with religion. I don't think, in other words, there are good people and there are bad people. We talk about them on the air here all the time.
Right.
And it is not my duty for somebody to sprinkle water on your head, or you've not been born again, or whatever it is that people say you've got to do to be one of the lucky few
good and bad than religious people are.
Well, I sometimes wondered what if the great moment comes and the only people left down here are the Christians. But there would be a lot of, well, anyway. First-time caller line, you're on the air with Larry Wilson. Hello.
Hi, are you there?
Fine. Yes, I'm here. Where are you, sir?
I'm in Rancho Santa Fe, California.
All right, go ahead.
I can't believe I got through. I've got a bunch of things I need to say real quick.
Do it real quick.
Okay, first of all, the Bible's very clear on a couple things, that no man knows the time or the hour when Jesus Christ is going to return.
Right.
The Jehovah's Witnesses have been doing this for the last century, and every time they predict it, they trip themselves up and have to reset the date.
Yeah.
Second of all, concerning all of these things, when I listen to your show, I hear all of this end times predictions, but not very many people say what is to be our response when we hear all of this. And I think what God is trying to get us as a people to do is to get down to our knees, get down to business with Him, and prepare our own hearts and our houses for what's coming in the future.
Forgive me.
The Bible
There was a loud noise in the other part of the house. I had to go investigate.
The Bible's very clear that all
There's
sin
the
and fall
crazy
short of
ass
the grace of
cats
God.
I have.
And,
All right. This is beginning to, thank you very much for the call, sir. But we're really getting a little too close to actual preaching here, and I don't want to do that. And I've got to take off, Larry. But again, you've got a book. It's called Warning Revelation. Is about to be fulfilled, and you're willing to give it to people.
Oh, now
That's
some
right.
people come in
Yeah.
here.
They can call right now.
That's right.
Y'all
There's
want to
no
hear electric
charge,
or
There's
acoustic?
no strings.
That's right.
Tell me in
Nobody's
chat
going
real
to come
quick.
knocking.
No, we're not.
See if
I
he'll
want to
pop
make a
up.
point that we're not affiliated
Oh,
or
I guess I don't want to hear
endorsed by any
shit.
church.
I've
Never
got you.
mind.
In fact, I don't belong to a church. We're not recommending a church. We are simply lifting up the Bible as a consideration for the understanding of the times in which we live.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I appreciate your being on with us, Larry. We're out of time. Good luck to your operators. They're going to be busy.
Well, it's been a privilege to be with you, Art, and best wishes to you.
Larry Wilson, take care. All right, everybody. It's off to the... You know, that really was a troubling couple of hours. We'll be right back.
The trip back in time continues with Art Bell hosting Coast to Coast AM. More Somewhere in Time coming up. Now, we take you back to the past on Art Bell Somewhere in Time.
Can you tell I found some new bumping music I like? Anybody remember what this is? Good morning, everybody. I'm Art Bell, and this is Coast to Coast AM. Come on now, you know what that is. Anyway, I thought it'd make a great piece of bumper music, and it does. All right, I've got a lot to talk to you about. God, what a strange night. Larry Wilson was very disconcerting for me, and I'm still trying to put my finger on it. It has something to do with religion. I know it does. And I let me try, and then I've got some more information for you here. I struggle with religion, as many of you know, and I don't allow a lot of it on the radio, but I also don't disallow it. And I really thought that with all of the people that I've had on who are off on the edge, and I know that a lot of you think that Scallion and Hoagland and the list really goes on for a mile, are out on the edge, and that I never came at it from a biblical point of view. And I thought Larry would be an opportunity to do that. He was. And what's bothering me about the whole thing, I mean, there's a whole litany of things that bother me. One of them is that religion seems to say this is inevitable.
I'm switching guitars.
If
anybody's even in here, I don't even know.
I don't know if I believe that. I think that science is a very powerful thing, and I believe that if something was coming at us, assuming that we got to know about it beforehand, and I think comets are a lot like bullets. I'm told that when you're hit with one, thankfully I never have taken Congratulations, my friend. You're the best in Phoenix, Arizona. In the world, your friend, Rick. Last year, the award went to Bob Mohan, KFYI. And he sent the article. And here it is. It says, best radio talk show. Dreamland with Art Bell, Sunday, 7 to 10, KFYI. Crystalline structures on the moon. Film footage of the dissection grave of Martians. Things that I say here. In these days of talk radio, taking on blame for various anti-governments and terrorism, Dreamland concerns itself with more celestial topics. Each Sunday evening offers listeners the opportunity to comment on the series of experts, topics of alien abduction, Roswell incident, predictions for AD 4000, as well as interviews with legendary abductees, including Arizona's very own Travis Walton. At the eye of this ideological hurricane is the calm, unskippable master of ceremonies, host Art Bell, broadcasting from what he refers to as the Kingdom of Nye County, Nevada being the renegade county, whose commissioners transferred ownership of federal land to the county. Bell finds himself as being the broadcaster closest to Area 51, it's true. The renowned alien crash site at Nellis Air Force Base, not necessarily true. Has he had a sighting? Of course. Listening to Bell's measured, even tones, you know that to him, any theory is as plausible as the next. Add to the mix advertisements for shortwave radio and television will help turn your gas savings gold. And you have a radio show reaching out to the anti-government Second Amendment survivalist militia crowd as well. But Dreamland is not to be typecast. As Bell intones at the end of each show, Dreamland is a program dedicated to areas of human experience not easily put into a box. Things seen at the edge of vision, yet as real as the air we breathe, but can't see. That's the article. And so they have awarded me the best radio talk show, best radio show, I guess. Thank you. That is quite an honor, and the best of Phoenix 1995. It says, thank you. Whether it is Dreamland or this program that sometimes models itself after that in some senses, it is the very diversity that I seek that I think accounts for the success, or I hope does. So that's a great honor, and thank you, Phoenix.
Oh, shit.
Thank you. This fax in, Entertainment Tonight
It's not.
claims they are going to show additional footage of the Santilli film tomorrow, 9/22. The brief snippet of film they showed was of the panels with the six-finger impression. I wonder if Fox is trying to sell off the footage that doesn't fit into their Roswell theory. Or is this an attempt to release credible information through less than credible sources, or vice versa? In any event, I thought people ought to know so they can roll with tape. She signs it Susie Luce. In Santa Barbara. Normally, I'm sure that's not a real last name. Susie Luce. Is that like Susie Wong? So there you go. Entertainment Tonight with additional footage showing the panels. Wow. Don't miss it, folks. I can't tell you how disconcerted I was by Larry, and I don't know why. Then this. Just in, seismologists say, you're going to love this, that an earthquake that shook a wide area of Southern California Wednesday was stronger than previously thought. They say the quake's magnitude was at least 5.8,
Well, I shouldn't
upgraded
even
from
be tired.
5.5.
I
The quake
slept.
struck at 4:27 p.m.
Maybe
Pacific
because I'm
time
stoned.
Wednesday.
It is
There are reports of minor damage, no injuries.
27 at night.
It's the second powerful quake in a month, centered about 10 miles north of Ridgecrest. A Caltech seismologist says a magnitude 5.4 quake centered in the same area on August 17th was actually a foreshock to Wednesday's quake. The quake was felt throughout Los Angeles and its suburbs, in San Bernardino, Orange, and as far east as Las Vegas. Do you get the feeling that, I do, and I don't like it one little bit, that the other shoe, as I keep saying, is about to fall off. And, I cannot tell you how disconcerting I am. Somewhere in time, with Art Bell, continues, courtesy of Premier Networks. There is, as always, a great deal of news to talk about. But I think that what I'm going to do for now is, rather than, maybe I will. There's just so much going on. AT&T is breaking up into 3 different phone companies. Now, they're not the divestiture already occurred. They're doing this voluntarily. We will have, as we know it, AT&T, no change in your phone service. That'll be one company. The second one will sell equipment. The third one will sell business computers out of the home market into business. They will end up laying off probably about 8,000 people will get a pay slip as a result of this change. The market liked it. The shareholders love it. And I miss the old phone company. You know it? I really miss the old phone company. I miss phones like the phone I've got right now. I've got one right now. You know what it is? I look on the back of it. You know what it says? Bell System property, not for sale. That telephone. I miss these telephones. And, I suppose really I ought not to phone now. Bell System property, not for sale. Probably the phone police are going to come get it tomorrow. But I mean, this is an example of the solidity of the phone company the way it once was. And I miss it. I miss the phone company. And now it's going to split up even more. OJ, it is possible we have seen the last witness in the allegations and that's all, folks. Well, not quite. Yesterday, a motion to suppress evidence based on the impeachment of Furman and Van Atter denied. A motion to limit the length of closing arguments next week denied. Closing arguments begin Tuesday. That is going to be very interesting. That will be 1 year to the date after the beginning of the trial. Closing arguments will begin on the anniversary of the beginning of the trial. Frederick Whitehurst, the FBI guy who was going to testify, get him in, will not. His information not considered relevant to this case. So that's about it. No limit on final arguments. The jury is beginning to get a little testy, I would say. And can you blame them? So that's it, folks. Other than the closing arguments, it's over. What kind of jury verdict do you expect? Colin Powell in Boston on his book signing, which, by the way, has gone right up to the top of the list. It is now the #1 bestseller, Colin Powell. He clearly is now leaning more toward being, I believe he's going to run as a Republican. He said yesterday, quote, the GOP is a big tent that can indeed handle moderate positions on gun control, abortion, and so on. The latest poll commissioned at the shows that if Powell were to run against Clinton, Powell would have 48%, Clinton 33%. In other words, Powell would beat Clinton. Bob Dole versus Powell for the nomination is a statistical tie. Now, I would like you to think a little bit about this. Powell would beat that hell out of Clinton. 48% 33. But now digest the following. 71% of the people say they know very little about politics. Now, does that say? What does that say? 71% of the people say they hardly know a thing about politics. And yet, by 48 to 33%, they're willing to replace Clinton with Powell. Now, what does that say about Clinton? What does that say about Powell? And what does that say about the electorate? I'm not sure any of it's good. Frankly, I'm not sure any of it's good. So, there you are. Powell made a statement the other day about, says politicians are demonizing immigrants. He is the son, as you know, of a Jamaican immigrant. Said Monday that he supports banning welfare and other government benefits for those who enter the country illegally, except when it comes to children. Bosnia. The UN, I mean, I've just got to get it's too important not to get this stuff in. The UN has announced it is suspending the bombing of the Serbs indefinitely because they have, according to the UN, complied. They have moved 250 heavy weapons outside the exclusionary zone, lifting the siege of Sarajevo. The map of what used to be Yugoslavia has changed again. The Serbs have got about half the land. The Croat Muslims, Croats and Muslims have about half. There are now 90,000 Serb refugees on the move. There is no peace agreement. So, what have we done? Can anybody out there tell me what we have done? We have assisted the Bosnian Muslims and the Croats to take back about 30% of the land they lost, making it roughly half and half. Right, we've done that. They have not stopped the war. They still want to kill each other. We're going to try to force them into a peace agreement, and if we are unfortunate enough, in my opinion, to achieve that, we will then send 18 to 25,000 Americans to enforce the peace and remain there, I think, for a very long time. And as soon as they leave, of course, the war will begin again because we have not changed the hearts. All we've done is bomb them into submission. I did predict that we'd be able to do that. We have done that. So I guess I would just say, what next? We'll be right back.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from September 20th, 1995. Premier Network presents Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from the 20th of September, 1995.
Maybe this does explain it. Here's the facts that just came. I just have this terrible uneasy feeling tonight. Maybe I can help you understand why you are uneasy. I am too. I think it's because that you believe that prophecy and science and just good old common sense observation seems to be conveying some very frightening predictions and events. Then you have to begin the process of sorting out what religion has to do with such prophecy. In other words, if the Christian prophets are right, what about all the other stuff they teach? That's from Mike. And here, let me set you a little more on edge. Listen to this from Gary. Art just returned from Mammoth Mountain in the Sierra Nevada mountains, where I was doing some fly fishing. Now, near the base of the mountain, there are many spots where the Forest Service has closed campgrounds and hiking trails due to large amounts of carbon dioxide gas leaking out of the ground. The quantity of gas is so large that trees are dying and hikers can become asphyxiated. Is this ancient volcano ready to blow? The rangers were very tight-lipped when I questioned them. Can any listeners out there help? Great show, Gary. Thanks, Gary. Just what I needed to read. There's a big debate going on about prayer in school, and the chief of police in Los Angeles is suing. This is a very interesting story. The chief of police in Los Angeles, Willie Williams, is suing the city of Los Angeles, suing his employers, for $10 million. He claims the city defamed his character by leaking a story about receiving a free room in Las Vegas. In other words, I guess he believes that somebody in the city council or somebody in city government leaked this and then leaked the story, and then it was printed in L.A. and it defamed his character. When it turns out, I'm told, that his wife's level of gambling entitled him to the free room. There are, the high rollers in Las Vegas get free rooms. They do that all the time. They comp. It's called a comp. And so the city council apparently, the way I understand it, retracted it somehow or another. But now he will sue the city. And the question is, can you sue the city you're working for and serve that city at the same time? I wonder if that's what he intends to do. So to the telephones, and let's see what we've got out there. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Good morning, Art.
Good morning.
If I disappear on you in the middle of talking, we've got a snowstorm here, and the...
Snowstorm? Where are you?
I'm in Denver, and we were supposed to have a slight dusting, and we have heavy wet snow, and it's taking out my trees by this house.
You're kidding.
No, it's, lots of the city is without power tonight.
You're kidding.
No, it's our first snow this year.
You're listening to KHOW,
Right.
In Denver. Wow. I hadn't heard about that. A snowstorm in Denver.
Yeah, matter of fact, it held up Clinton and Gore's planes, Air Force One and Air Force Two, because they landed out at the National Guard and none of the icing machines worked, or de-icing machines rather. So they had to send in for stuff from DIA.
Wow. Well, all right. So I'll understand. Anyway, welcome to the program.
Thank you. What I wanted to comment on is with everybody feeling really uneasy, I was thinking perhaps it's our inner self. All along we've been kind of listening to things and saying, yeah, I really need to prepare. Yeah, we really need to set this aside and take care of this and that. And then when other people talk about it and show us things, they're going to kind of